Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is the Undisputed Champ Sports Podcast. You are listening to the audio version of our NXT UK and 205 Live review. If you didn't know already, I am your host, Preston, and I am joined by the one and only Thumbs Up Tommy. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday night. It is Thumbs Up Tommy, the one and only. We're getting ready. We're keeping going with our weekly reviews. This time we're going to talk about a doubleheader here because it's going to be fairly short. 205 Live and NXT UK.
And just to remind you guys, if you guys haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. And we know this is Takeover Weekend. Take a chance to listen to our NXT Takeover predictions for this weekend. Also, let us know what you guys think in the comment section there. So, Tommy has the card, and he's going to go ahead and take us through this, and we'll talk about it step by step.
Of course, the usual, for how we handle these events. So, first, we go straight into action, which is a one-on-one match between the Brian Kendrick, the man with the plan, as his song implies, versus Mike Kanellis. So, first and foremost, before I say what I thought about this match, what did you think, Preston?
What did I think about? I thought this match it wasn't that bad actually. I was actually you know, I was actually appreciative of how aggressive Brian Kendrick was in the beginning of the match. We had a couple of spots there, especially a suplex off the top of the stairs to the outside, which is one of my favorite spots of the match. But other than that, it was actually better than I thought it would be. I'm actually interested to see what's going on with Mike Kanellis because I think, in my personal opinion, when it comes to 205 Live, he has probably the longest storyline that does not involve a feud going on right now. I mean, I'm not too sold onto how his character is, but I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with his story and for him to finally take a clean win over somebody. It looks like they're gonna continue whatever story they're trying to do with him trying to gain his way back to getting the cruiserweight title, or at least getting a chance to be in a cruiserweight title match.
Facts,
So,
facts.
yeah, that's what I thought about the match.
Well, I'm gonna say this. One thing I would say, don't get too attached to Mike Kanellis because if you've been following Twitter, Maria posted something about their contracts expiring in a few weeks, so maybe they gave him this clean win to make him happy.
Yeah, I mean, she said their contracts are expiring in a few weeks, and then the next tweet was basically saying her gym memberships. So I don't know. I mean, it's her way of trying to be funny, I guess. But I
I
mean,
guess, but yeah,
does it really
you were gonna say?
matter? Well, for that, does it really matter? I mean, I don't know where they're gonna go. I don't know if AEW is gonna take them or whatever.
Mm,
So
right. So my thoughts on the match. I mean, it wasn't like a Tommy Ali match, obviously, but this was actually, in terms of 205 Live, probably the best match, the best singles match, mind you. Because multi-man matches is a different story. But I would say this is the best singles match I've seen from Kanellis on 205 Live.
oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not mad at that.
like it wasn't like, oh my God, like Adam Cole and Ricochet type level, but it was good enough where I was actually entertained, and I gotta give it up to Brian Kendrick on this one because he just, like, at least to me, he just proves my point and that I've been emphasizing for a while. It takes two to tango, you know. You can be you can be the best wrestler on the roster, but if you don't have chemistry with the opponent that's standing across the ring from you, it doesn't fucking matter. You're gonna look like shit regardless. And Brian Kendrick, I don't know. I think it's a testament to him being a 20 plus year veteran to the game. Like, I don't know what he did, but he adjusted his style to where Mike Kanellis actually looked good and didn't look boring.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, this is a very interesting match. I think it all depends on what type of matches that they put him in. Because Mike Kanellis, the matches that he was put in, they're not really great matches overall. Even the multi man match that they had last week, Even if he was or wasn't there, it wasn't a good match at all. But Brian Kendrick did do a lot to make him look really good, and I really appreciate the fact that Brian Kendrick did grow his beard back. I mean, I know that's a weird
Hmm.
cosmetic thing to point out, but before, when he had that naked face, he looked like a 41-year-old actor trying to be a 20-year-old serial killer. Like that's the way he looked to me.
Yeah,
But
it looked weird.
it looked really weird. So I'm glad that he brought it back. But I agree
Yeah,
with you. The match was a lot better than I thought it would be. You know.
yeah, and put it to you like this, because I've critiqued the Mike Kanellis since from the jump when he came to WWE, and I feel like he's not bad. It's just he's not great. He's literally in the middle. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And like I look at him, and it's not a knock on either party that I'm gonna name, but I look at Canellis. He's to me, he kind of reminds me of like a Keanu Reeves type of actor because Keanu Reeves is not by any stretch of the imagination the greatest actor of all time. He's not the worst either, but you give him the right material and he can make it work.
Right.
Case in point, Neo from the Matrix or John Wick. But that's beside the point. We're talking about Mike Kanellis here. You got to give him the right opponents for him to shine. Multi-man matches, everybody shines because everybody shows out. But one-on-one, you got to give Mike the right opponents for him to show what he can really do. And I am in agreement with our buddy Justin Kelsey that Mike and Maria would have benefited greatly from having a run on NXT before hitting the main roster.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it really all depends on who they face. I mean, because that plays a
Right.
role into it too. So, um,
Yeah, like some wrestlers, it's just like that, and there's nothing wrong with that, Some wrestlers, you just got to have the right opponents to help, that you actually have chemistry with. It's not like, not everybody can be AJ Styles that he can pull a good match out of anyone.
yeah, I mean, because it applies too to like say for instance like Kushida, like they had him. The matches they've been giving him, it isn't really his best matches outside of WWE has always been against high flyers. Like saying like Ricochet when he had a match against Ricochet, the couple matches he had against Will Ospreay, and
Mm,
even if they try to do a rematch like they did between him and Roderick Strong, like he did, that was I feel like it was a classic match outside of WWE. But if he's in the ring with
mm.
people like the people he's been wrestling, and not necessarily saying that those people are terrible, but you're not going to get a quote unquote exciting match out of him with those individuals.
Yeah,
So
like you're not gonna get a 4 or 5 star match out of Kushida by putting him against Drew Gulak.
yeah, I mean it just all depends on how that match is designed. But like with Cassius Ono or anybody like that. But
Oh well, and then of course his second opponent was Kona Reeves. Yeah, you're not gonna
yeah,
get a
second opponent was
you
Kona Reed. But you know what? Getting a
yeah
5-star match is absolutely hard to do. So,
yeah
especially we're talking about Dave Meltzer. He's not going to give 5 stars that much to WWE
he's
matches
anti WWE period.
for the most part. But he seems to be more into NXT than he is about the main roster. So he's
Yeah,
more
but anyway,
yeah
yeah. So we digress here. So Mike Kanellis won. They actually won clean because Maria was not part of the finish on the match, and so props to him for doing that. And again, I honestly I feel like what's his name, Brian Kendrick, to an extent, because when Y2J was in WWE's good graces, he had no problem putting the newer talent over.
right.
I feel like Brian Kendrick is like the Jericho of 205 Live, where like he's the OG and he's got no problems putting the newer talent over.
Yeah, because they're not giving him any title runs anytime soon.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, I don't see Brian Kendrick being a cruiserweight champion in the near future or any future for that matter. But hey, I mean, he's got nothing to prove to anybody. He's a 20+ year veteran in the game, and he's won titles, in various promotions. So Brian Kendrick's good. He's got legend status. Whether people want to acknowledge it or not. But yeah, moving on, we had a squash match. We had Noam Dar versus local talent Mike Karma.
yeah, pretty much a squash
Not
match.
much, not much to talk about there because, as I said, it's a goddamn squash match, and Noam Dar just obliterated this poor kid. And
Yeah.
like, Yeah, the takeaway from here was really Dar's post-match interview where he's like, how can you say I'm back on track when I never was off track to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, at least with these squash matches, I'm really anti squash matches because they really don't do much, especially for
They
certain
don't,
characters.
yeah, they
Um,
don't elevate you really.
the only good thing I can say about these squash matches is for these local talents to be able to get spotlight for the few seconds
Hmm.
that and they can post it on Instagram, say, hey, I was at WWE. But like you said, the match itself, you hear it's a squash match, so it's not really that much to really say about the match.
There's
But
nothing to say.
but what is important to talk about is, like you said, his post match interview. We always talk about the fact that 205 Live is devoid of a lot of personality and devoid of charisma when it comes to character. Obviously, we have Ari Daivari, but one of the people that I like seeing all the time and talk on the mic, other than when we talk about Liverpool's number one in the UK, is Noam Dar. He
No,
has
I'm
so
Dar.
much personality, so much charisma on the mic, especially at the end of his post match interview. He had me dying laughing. He was like, "Thank you, bye bye, Oklahoma sucks." I'm like,
Oh,
this
that
guy
was
is
hilarious,
crazy, and he didn't have to say that.
bro.
That was so improvised, and you could tell.
Yeah,
Um,
mind you, I was watching 205 Live yesterday morning when I was on the treadmill,
yeah.
and I was taking a swig of water because I'm trying. You got to take a few sips of water here and there to stay hydrated.
Hmm.
And when he said that, I almost spit my water out.
Yeah, because it was so unnecessary, but it was hilarious too because he was baiting
Oh my
people in
God.
the front row in the audience to come fight him. Like if you watch after that, he was like kind of baiting them, and then he did that little real thing that Jim Carrey did in he did that in what was it? What was that movie when he was like Moses or something like that?
Bruce
Bruce
Almighty.
Almighty. Remember he did that. He did the wielding thing with his middle finger when he cranked it up. But Noam
Yeah,
Dar did it with his pinkies. But we get what he was trying to get at with that.
exactly.
But Noam Dar is great. He needs more. He needs more TV time when it comes to 205 Live. A lot more.
He's a, he's another Zach Gibson. Like he needs more TV time.
He needs to be the guy who's facing. I mean, I know we already know what's about to happen soon, but he needs to be the guy who's facing Tony needs to add more personality into a feud because the person they have him going against,
Hmm.
although I like him, Akira Tozawa, but as far as
Well,
promos and stuff,
about that, it's not 100%
it's not
confirmed.
it's not 100% confirmed. But for right now, the idea is that it's going to be those two, and if that is going to be the
Yeah,
case, we're not gonna get much personality out of that feud.
that's just going to be another throwaway match on the pre-show. But so moving on from the
Hmm.
squash match, there was actually a couple of solid backstage promos.
Right.
The first one with Davari De Niro.
Yeah.
He had stitches, close to his ear, and he was talking about how, he got those because of Oni Lorkin in the match last week. And he was saying that he's like, yeah, I don't care what I have to do, but I'm going to make sure that I'm personally responsible for your next set of stitches.
Hmm.
And then after that, Oni Lorcan actually showed some personality too.
Yeah.
So like he was saying, he's like, look, where I'm from, a man owns up to what he does, and you know, I'm sorry that I hurt you. I didn't mean to do that. Basically, he's like, but he's like, you're trying to blame me because you lost the match. Say, nah, that don't fly like that. He's like, but you know what? The least I can do next time I see you is give you a second set of matching stitches to go with the first one.
Yeah, so with that, I saw, first and foremost, yeah, Ari
Uh,
Davari obviously is great with backstage promos and stuff like that. It was kind of funny how he turned it. It felt like he turned it into like one of those '90s sitcom monologues where he's like talking to somebody, then everybody freezes,
mhm.
like Saved by the Bell, and he's like talking to the camera. He kind of did it that
Yeah.
way, but it was a great promo. The only thing I would say is what they have with Oni Lorkin. Um, they have to kind of be careful with some of the things he's saying because that was kind of treading on heelish, waters. And we
Hmm.
gotta with WWE, you have to make it kind of blatantly clear who's the heel and who's the face. And if Ari Daivari ends up being the favorite, and you have this other guy over here talking the way he talked, like saying adding an extra row of stitches, you might mess up what you're trying to do with Ari Daivari, with trying to make
Right.
Oni Lurkin an aggressive face, and it doesn't work sometimes.
I mean, Oni can be a tweener per se. Like he doesn't have to be a babyface or a heel.
Yeah, but even then, they have to pick their verbiage. Like Like, yeah,
Yeah,
because he
yeah,
can't
cause yeah,
apologize
cause
for the
what he
stitches and
said,
say I'm gonna add an extra layer at the end of the same promo.
yeah, cause what he said was pretty heelish. Yeah, but
Yeah,
in any case, I mean, on a positive note on this, first of all, both segments were done well. I gotta tip my hat to both of these gentlemen, and also I would say the fact that this is setting up a feud that's not about the title, which I love.
yeah,
I always love it when they do a freaking they do a freaking feud that has nothing to do with the title.
yeah. I mean,
Because
yeah, because I mean that's
yeah, because not everything has to be about the title.
well, I mean in 205 with 205 that's the only alternative they have because they really only have one belt on the show. So any feud that happens that's not against the champion is basically that's all they can do other than that is be non-title feuds. But I do agree
True.
with you with that. At least make them interesting. Don't post
Hmm.
put all the interest and focus on the
Yeah,
championship
like
feud.
Ali and Itami.
Yeah, yeah,
Shit.
yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. So then after that was the main event, which was Gentleman Jack Gallagher versus my dog Humberto Carrillo.
Hmm.
And honestly, at first, because I mean, let's be real, you and I are neither one of us is the biggest Gentleman Jack Gallagher fan. So like, I was a little iffy about how this match was gonna go, like if I was gonna end up liking it or not.
Okay.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it because I feel like, I, honestly, I feel like Carrillo is good enough that he's either working on it or pretty much there where he can have a good match with anybody.
Hmm.
And Jack Gallagher, he needs the right opponent, which Carrillo fit the bill. And I love how, even though Carrillo's known as a high flyer, he did a lot of ground game work.
Hmm.
Man, I forgot what he did. I think yeah, he had like because he was coming from the outside. I think what's his name? Gallagher was laid out, and then this man goes and then oh now I remember he did like a like you know how some guys they'll do like that flipping handstand to the front and then bounce off of the ropes.
Hmm.
Carrillo did that, and then he threw himself to the floor. He hooked onto Gallagher's arm, and then he basically deadlifted him into a Japanese arm drag. That was amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely agree with that. Well, first of all, I would like to say that I love Umberto Carrillo's entrance gear. I love it. The way it's designed, it
Yeah,
looks
that
it
that
looks
cape
amazing.
thing looks dope. I
The
love
cape
it.
with the gauntlets and everything like that, it looks amazing. I love it. Yeah, this match here. I mean, I knew Gallagher had the ability to have a great match, but I felt like I liked this one too. They gave him a lot of time. This match was about 20 minutes long. I think they gave him,
Yeah,
and
something like that.
just to piggyback off of exactly what you said, Umberto Carrillo, I keep saying his name wrong, Carrillo, he mixed it up. He did mostly ground game towards the end, and I can see what's going on. And that's great for him because if he works on more ground stuff and at least display his talent on the ground, he has the ability to tell different stories and matches in the future. If in
Exactly.
case they make him become champion, and let's say God forbid there's a part of his body that's injured, he can switch his style up for whatever match he's in to kind of shield whatever that injury is.
That's a fact.
But what I really liked about this match is that he used all ground game until the end. He's attempting to do what is called storytelling in the ring is to start off with normal stuff and build up to the extreme stuff. And I think that's
Hmm.
great to see that. And Jack Gallagher was the perfect person to do that. And they even tried to throw some comedic elements in there when they both did the handstand and Gallagher knocked Humberto Carrillo off the top of the rope and things like that.
Hmm.
But for me, I actually like this match a lot. This if they get more reps in together, or at least Umberto Carrillo get more reps in doing ground game and doing aerial stuff, he has the ability at one day in the future to actually have a classic match once he gets that right opponent.
Hmm.
So
Definitely.
I can't wait
I,
to see that.
and to me, one of the funnier moments in the match was when Carrillo was like kind of down,
Yeah.
and then what's the name? Gallagher was like towering over him, and he does like like that leg sweep sweeping motion with your arm to knock somebody down.
Hmm. And Gallagher lays
He,
back.
he, yeah, he just lays back and falls on top of him like a senton. That was pretty funny to me.
Yeah, Gallagher is actually one of those guys. It's like flip backwards when it comes to wrestling. It's like, yeah, his character is kind of interesting. He's the kind of the basic stereotypical person from over out east, but he's more interesting in the ring than his personality is. Like he has so much personality in the ring, and I feel like outside the ring, he's just kind of not devoid of it. But it's just we've seen that type of personality so many times that it's not really anything that special. But
Yeah, like I mean, put it to you like this. In a sense, I mean, Johnny Gargano's great, but and like he does great promo work and the whole nine. But like Johnny Gargano, his stories are told mostly in the ring.
mhm.
So I feel like Gallagher, he has a little bit of charisma, a little bit of personality here and there on the mic,
Mhm.
but his personality really shines during the match.
Yeah, it really does. And the fact that he keeps a straight face and doing all those comedic elements actually makes it that much more funnier to watch and a lot more
Yeah,
entertaining.
I love it. Like if Jack Gallagher can keep giving me matches like this, he might just win me over.
Yeah, I think he can. I think he can. It just all depends on how they book him.
Right. So definitely, I mean, that's what we have for 205 Live this week. We've got 2 1/4 matches because squash match ain't the whole match.
Yeah, it really isn't.
And so, Preston, what would you grade 205 this week?
I'll actually give 205 a B this week, even including the squash match. I think we got a good couple of good backstage segments and 2 surprise matches. They were a lot better than I expected them to be honest.
Yeah. I echo the sentiment. I'm going to give it a slightly higher notch. I'm going to give it a B plus.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because both matches were great. I thoroughly enjoyed them, even though I wasn't really looking forward to them going in. But they actually won me over, and that's great.
Mhm.
And then the promos, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Plus, let's see what happens if Drake Maverick actually gives us Tozawa versus Nice,
Mhm.
or if he goes another direction. I'm hoping he does go another direction. And
Yeah,
oh,
that's the continuity part that's kind of weird to me because he told Tony Nese and Akira Tozawa he's like, I got a lot on my plate right now. I'm gonna figure out what's going on. I'll figure out what I wanted to do with you guys. I'm thinking
I'll
about
take
it.
it into
I'll take it into
consideration.
consideration, but they could have just been like, "What do you mean you got so much on your plate? I just saw you on Raw sticking up wanted posters looking for our truth." And speaking of our truth, we did skip the segment that he had on 205
Exactly.
Live.
I was just about to get to that. Yeah, like Caleb Braxton's trying to ask him about what Niece's request was, and he's like, "Excuse me," and he goes running after Truth. Yo, this
That was funny. That was so
I
random.
swear, I swear, dude. If if anybody's gonna beat our Truth for that title and actually hold it, it should be Drake Maverick.
It gotta be.
It's gotta be. Like he's hilarious
Yeah.
in his own way. He's hilarious.
Yeah, if they don't
But
force it
yeah,
and make PP jokes, then I think he'll be okay.
yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah.
No, but you know damn well that Drake Maverick, as long as he doesn't get any kind of like really bad backstage heat, I think he's set for life in WWE because of that piss thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, because like he actually wet himself like for the sake of the show.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's
And when you go the extra mile like that, Vince McMahon likes that.
yeah. Unfortunately, he does. You know,
As
and it strokes
as
his ego
corny as
too.
it was, as corny as it was, Drake Maverick said, "Fuck it, I gotta make it work," and he did. So I think he's set in terms of like having a career in WWE. But in any case, let's move on to the second portion of this doubleheader,
Hmm.
which is our brothers and sisters in the black and yellow brand across the pond, NXT UK.
Hmm.
So we get a video package that's a recap of Walter versus Pete Dunne round two to start the show. You, Carmine, and myself, we say this all the time. WWE's video packages are second to none. So, as expected, great video package. So after that, you see Walter come out, and he's flanked by two of our favorite guys on the NXT UK roster, Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel, or as we call them, European Union, and he declares that they're now called Imperium.
Hmm.
So they cut a promo about how they're the future of NXT UK and how the mat is sacred, which I'm glad that Walter incorporated that into his promo because, these guys have been saying it for weeks. This mat is sacred. Like, we ain't here to fuck around.
Right.
And then at that point, Pete Dunne comes out. But he's not alone. He's got his boys, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven, aka British Strong Style, the full team,
Mm.
because the two of them is just mustache fine. But British Strong Style comes out, and a complete melee ensues in the brawl that happens in the ring to the point where they literally knock a cameraman down, and the camera just goes off screen, and like they try to play it off at a commercial break. So
Yeah.
this ties into it. After that, they had Ramsey interviewing Sid Scala, assistant GM of NXT UK, and he announced that in 2 weeks' time it's going to be British Strong Style versus Imperium in a six-man tag team match.
Perfect, perfect. That's what we've
Oh
been
my
looking for.
god.
And one thing I do appreciate is of many things is Martel Bartel when he was about to talk on the mic and the crowd kept booing him and he put down the mic and
Hmm.
he picks it back up. Then they boo him and he puts it back down. I like the fact that he gave the audience a chance to react to them and just kind of bask in being a heel team. The other thing,
It's just little things like that that just make all the difference.
yeah, it makes all the difference, and I love the fact that NXT UK is embracing something that the main roster, and even I would even include NXT, I would even include 205 Live in. They're embracing having factions, and that's not something we normally see in WWE. And NXT is doing that
Yeah.
to the. They got three now, so it's
Yeah.
great. It's great to see that.
Yeah, we got British Strong Style, we got Gallus, and now Imperium. That's the third three-man faction going
Hmm.
on right now.
Absolutely.
So, oh man, I can't, can you imagine if, well, then again, for that to work, you know, I don't know. They might pull the trigger on this because it's NXT UK and that's under Triple H, not Vince. I don't think he really cares too much about having a heel versus heel dynamic. Can you imagine grizzled young veterans versus EU
Yeah, that'd be a great match. I wouldn't mind that at all.
with Walter at ringside?
Yeah, that'd be an interesting match because they
Bro,
have to avoid him.
I could just picture this now. Like, what's it called? They see fucking one of the guys from Grizzled Young Veterans getting their ass handed to them in the
Hmm.
corner
Hmm.
from what's it called by EU, and then while the referee's trying to break it up, Walter comes from the other side, grabs the other one, and just chops the shit out of them.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I did like
Oh my god.
the camera thing that they did. It was a bit cheesy a little bit, and I think if you in common sense, if you think about it, it doesn't make sense because they have multiple cameras in there. So one camera shouldn't stop us from watching what's going on. But I like what they tried to do is that they didn't want us to see a definite ending in this brawl to kind of guess or have any thoughts of who's going to win the match that's coming up. So I
Yeah, it
like the
was
fact
pretty
that they
funny.
did that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so after that we had my God, this week is like the week of squash matches. We had a squash match of two out of three members from Gallus, which were Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, versus Carlos Romo and A Kid.
Yeah, definitely a squash match.
Yeah,
Definitely a squash match.
jobbers, boring, killed them in like 3 minutes. Done. Next.
Yeah, I think they're trying to rebuild the momentum on Wolfgang because he got the pin and he did a lot of the damage in the match. I think they got a lot more
Yeah.
work to do with this guy to bring him back because they
Well,
really
no, and
really
then
messed him up.
on top of that, he lost in the qualifier match to Dave Mastiff. So he definitely needs to get momentum back on his side.
Yeah, he lost a lot. He lost outside of Massive. He lost a lot of unnecessary matches. So And
He's
the match against the
he's
Coffee
clearly the
Brother.
weak link in Gallus.
Yeah, he's the weakest link, and they unfortunately lost. Even though they don't have records, losses do matter, and a lot of wrestlers do say once you do a lot of losses, it's hard to get the momentum back and for people to care about you. So,
Hmm.
it's gonna be a long hike for Wolfgang, unfortunately.
Hey, Mark, Joe, if you guys are listening, um, Preston and I are still willing to do a 2-for-1 trade. You know, drop Wolfgang, and we'll join you guys as Coffee Brothers.
I don't know, man. Imperium is looking really good right now. I kind of like that name too.
Are you trying to switch sides now? You ain't
I
trying to
don't
be a
know.
Coffee
Well,
Brother
they not
anymore?
responding, man. I might go ahead and buy a leather jacket and join Imperium.
I don't know, man. I might just get the towel with the windbreaker and join British Strong Style.
Pretty strong stuff.
But yeah, so after that we had a quick interview with Zaya Brookside
Hmm.
regarding, the last time she was in the ring. I forgot who she was facing, but basically Ginny came out, interrupted the match. She didn't actually do anything though. She just basically introduced Jazzy Gabber as her hired muscle.
Hmm.
Basically, she is the Diesel to Ginny's Shawn Michaels,
Hmm.
and she just beat the dog shit out of Zaya Brookside, and I forgot who the hell her opponent was, but they both got their asses handed to them.
Hmm.
And after that, she was saying that Ginny can't beat her alone. That's why she's got Jazzy doing the dirty work for her. And of all people, Isla Dawn interrupts, proposing that her and Zaya team up, which Zaya seemingly accepted the offer.
Let's talk about some strategies.
Yes. So after that was another promo segment with, I would say, this guy is like, I think to NXT, he is to NXT UK what Cassius Ono was to regular NXT before he jumped ship.
Well, who are you talking about?
Joseph Connors.
Oh, Joseph Connor. He is
Bro,
actually
that man cannot get a win to save his life.
in my personal opinion, one notch above stars. Like that's where he is with me because he's really a jobber that gets a lot of TV time. That's really where he's at right
Yeah,
now because he's lost. I don't know what they're. I don't even think they even know what they're doing with this guy. He's just coming out and losing. And he had a story at first, coming back and trying to get wins, and now it's getting to the point where he's getting buried. And whatever story they were trying to do with them, if there even was a
it's
story,
pointless.
it don't even matter anymore.
It doesn't resonate at all. It's like he's gotten like maybe one or two wins recently, but it's wins that don't even matter.
And we don't even get like an understanding of what he's trying to do. What's his purpose? So, I understand.
Hmm.
And having somebody lose a lot, it does hurt their character. It does hurt them as a wrestler. It does hurt the fans being connected to him, and it definitely
That's a fact.
hurts anything that this person is trying to do in the future. Because if we get to the point where we don't care about him anymore, it's gonna be hard to care. Like, especially for
Fact.
someone like him.
Facts. Absolutely. No, but definitely. So he was talking about Ilya Dragunov, the new signee for NXT
Hmm.
UK, and he was talking about basically he was saying something along the lines of how everybody's saying that Dragunov is the touted as the most physical wrestler in NXT. He's like, we'll see how what they say when you and I face off.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much. It's like I want to get behind them, but it's like you're not really giving me much to work with, dude.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's like yeah, you can't. It's kind of like when Ziggler was on that major losing streak. It's like, bro, you can't expect me to take your threats seriously.
Yeah. That's he's getting into I want to say Bray
He's
Wyatt zone, but his promos don't even really. Then it's just I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with them.
No, 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 no. He's getting into Mojo Rawley territory.
I mean, but Mojo, whether he won or lost, I don't think it would have mattered for him. Like I don't. There's no saving him because his character is so ruined regardless if he won or lost. It's just it don't really matter at this point.
Bro, I keep thinking about that stupid design over his eye, like the broken glass.
That's what. Every time I see stuff like that, and I think about the Dean Ambrose interview with Talk to
Oh my
Jericho,
God,
I'm like, you shut down all these good ideas, but you let this one through. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it.
bro.
Come on, that is
Oh my
crazy.
God,
He just went in the back, drew on
bro.
his face, and was like, Vince, I got a good idea. And Vince was like, oh, there you go. That's right. That's how we're gonna get our marquee
Bro,
sponsors.
you're gonna bury EC3 in favor of that.
It's so crazy. I don't
Oh
even
my
understand
God.
the gimmick. I don't even think Mojo understands that gimmick. It's so
There's
ridiculous.
nothing to understand. It's just absurd. But anyway, we digress here. So
Yeah.
after that, we have we had a fairly entertaining match in Cassius Ono, who we were just talking about before this, versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
Hmm.
This was a very hard-hitting affair. I'm talking about they went blow for blow, hold for hold. Like this was like as good as you can get when it comes to British strong style.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed this match. I like the fact that
Mhm.
Gallagher was on NXT and UK and on 205 Live because it showed us two different styles of Jack Gallagher depending on who he wrestles.
Exactly.
So it was a great week film. I actually liked this match a lot more than I thought I would. I'm kind of in
Yeah.
between on Cassius Ohno. I mean, I know his history and I know how great he could be, but as far as recently, a lot of his matches were okay. And I think he's just there to
Right.
kind of just put people over, probably help out back in the locker room, fill up space during the
Yeah.
shows, and but I liked it. Like once again, Jack Gallagher has some entertaining moments in this match. More entertaining than I
Hmm.
feel like his personality is. Like that time he balled up like in the middle of the mat, stuck his hand out to shake Cassius on no hand, and Cassius just kicked him in the head. And I like that part. And then he tried to do the handstand thing that he did with Umberto in this match as well. Um,
Yep.
but I liked the match a lot. It was very entertaining. I liked it a lot.
Facts, facts, yeah. So, Cassius Ono actually won the match,
Hmm.
and it was actually a questionable win too because they filmed it in an angle where we can see that Jack's foot was under the bottom rope, but the
Hmm.
referee could not. So, that's not the end of that food. There's gonna be a rematch somewhere down the line.
And that's what I'm saying. It's just something that simple, like what they're doing with Connor, like what they're doing with Cassius Ono. It's like simple stuff like that. Oh wow, he's not supposed to win, but he won the match, and he's winning some matches. So it gains some interest as far as the story. Joseph Connor, he has nothing going on in his matches that make us even like care about. And I'm not even saying that he
Yeah,
has to put on a 5-star match. Simple stuff as far as winning when you're not supposed to win can bring more interest than whatever you're doing as a character.
bro. As long as he doesn't have a broken glass design on his face, I think he'll be all right.
Man, he might as well. He's at that point. He might as well do it.
They might as well team him up.
Yeah, they might as well, man.
Yeah. So, oh, and I kind of glossed over this, but yeah, there was a recap of who is in the Fatal Four-Way number one contenders match, which, if you guys haven't been following, the final four for this match are Joe Coffey,
Hmm.
the Iron King, as he calls himself, the Irish Ace, Jordan Devlin, Bomber Dave Mastiff, and the Kiwi Buzzsaw, Travis Banks.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty good. I just kind of question about Dave Master being there. As much as I love his character and him in the ring, I don't know if how does he qualify to be in that. And he hasn't
Well,
really
because he
been on
beat
TV.
Wolfgang's whack ass.
Yeah, even that part is weird. It's like you beating somebody that just
I
kind
mean,
of
I mean, put
trash.
it to you like this. Put it to you like this. You gotta remember, lots of times in a multi-man match, you gotta have at least one or two bodies there just to fill up
Yeah,
space.
of course. Yeah, I agree with that. Um,
So, as much as we like Bomber Dave Mastiff, he's just there to fill up space.
yeah, I think if he would have won a more challenging match, it would have questioned
Yeah,
it, made us question
if you
more.
would have had a higher profile opponent, then yeah.
Yeah, it make us question like, oh, maybe he could win this. Who knows? But since he beat somebody like Wolfgang, it's like, all right, we're just trying to get you in. We see what's going on.
Bro, that's like meeting Mojo Rawley
Yeah, yeah, it's
or Joseph Cotter in this case.
yeah, like beating Joseph Connor. It's just you know here's a free win. It's like the free space on bingo. That's really what that is. You don't
Bro,
have to
that's
try.
like yeah, for real. That's like when you take the SAT, don't you get like 300 points just for putting your name on a fucking paper?
I think so. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I taken that thing.
Yeah, but I don't know the exact point amount, but I know for sure you get points just for putting your fucking name on it.
Yeah, I believe that's true.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. But so after that, we had a pretty solid segment with Piper Niven.
Hmm.
Like I'm actually waiting to see another match from her because I really want to see like this girl get down to business because she can go.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm
Like
happy to.
if you're yeah if you're not familiar with Piper Niven, get familiar because
Yeah,
yeah she's definitely someone to watch in the women's division. So she's basically calling out Rhea Ripley because Rhea's like oh that she was trying to that Piper's trying to beat her and so on and so forth. She's like oh it's funny that she says that because I see Rhea likes to talk. Her like I'm not here to talk. I'm here to fight.
yeah,
She was like. She's like, oh, if Rhea really wants to fight, tell her I'm not that hard to find. I'll be waiting.
yeah. I love it. I love the intensity. Yeah, like Tommy said, go find out and go look up her matches. If you're looking at her matches outside of WWE, she's under the name Viper. So,
Viper.
check those matches out. She's pretty good. Don't let her size deceive you. She's great.
Yes. Size is, size isn't everything.
Size is
You don't have to be
irrelevant when it comes to wrestling now. You look at her and
exactly.
look at the War Raiders and all kind of
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Kevin Owens, it don't
Yeah,
matter.
fucking what's his name? It was Hanson was the big one, right?
Yeah, yeah. What's his
Yeah,
name now?
I forget. I forget because they changed their fucking names. The whole
It was like
Viking
Eric and
Raiders thing.
something. I don't know.
Eric and Ivar. I forgot. I don't even know
Ivar.
which is which.
Yeah, me either.
But yeah, yeah,
Tokar and
Hanson.
Razor.
Eh, it's like Hanson. You would think that he would be the powerhouse of the team, but he's actually the high flyer.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, we digress there. So now there's another uh, recap of the opening segment and confirmation of the match in 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And now we have that, yeah, and they also confirmed that next week is the Fatal Four Way for the number one contendership for the title. And then the main event, which was Nina Samuels versus the reigning, defending, undisputed, and WWE NXT UK Women's Champion, Toni Storm. And Preston, I'm going to let you talk about this one first.
Okay, so this match here. I was. I'm gonna be honest. I was really underwhelmed by this match. Not that I expected like some type of takeover level match, but I don't. Okay, so I look at this match from two different perspectives. If this is just a filler match to continue the feud, and it's just some match just to have, I get it. I get it. They'll probably have their bigger match or more entertaining match in the future. But if we're just gonna judge this match for what it is, it really didn't do much for me. It didn't convince. If this was my first time watching either one of them in the ring, I wouldn't have been convinced that this person, Toni Storm, that everybody's talking about, is as good as people say she is. Even though I personally know she is, this match didn't show anything on either end, and it wasn't even interesting. And I felt like that Nina Samuels could have been a lot more aggressive. At points
Hmm.
she tried to do it, but it didn't come off right. And then some of the selling in the match was just kind of weird. Like the moment that Toni Storm gave her the big boot, she didn't even react to that. Like it hurt.
It's like she no sold it.
She kind of knows she fell back, but you didn't see the impact react to her. You saw that she got kicked, but she got a big boot. There's a way that you react to a big boot as opposed to somebody just giving you a toe kick. And the same thing went for Toni Storm. Her reaction to selling things wasn't that good, and I guess it just kind of makes me question. Do they need to add another face to kind of put some fire under Toni Storm's butt because it seems like that there's something missing there. You know, um,
Iron Niven.
or maybe Piper Niven, but for Toni Storm's character, it just feels like there's something. She's the champion. She's the face of it. I get it. They love making certain girls the face of it. A lot of people want to get are behind her, and there's guys that want to get behind her. I get all that, but I,
Oh, I
I
definitely want to get behind Tony Storm.
yeah, for two reasons. I understand that, but I don't see what she has to offer outside of her look, character wise, and everything else. after seeing this match, I'm just kind of questioning all of that. Not saying that she's a terrible wrestler or a terrible character. I just don't see anything yet to justify her really being that face. And I watched her in the Indies. She's great in the ring. But when you come to WWE, there's more to it than just being great in the ring when it comes to being a
Yeah, you
face in
gotta have
any
the
division.
personality to go with it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, she does kind of lack that. She has like a, and I'm not trying to say this to trash her. I get it. That's her personality. She has like a goofy, awkward personality, and she can't help
She's
that.
kind of like she kind of has like that girl next door kind of personality to her.
That and it's kind of like geeky, like ish, if for lack of a better term. But I don't know what her personality is definitively, and that's why the other day when I said that Rhea Ripley is probably going to have a better trajectory for like in the next coming months as far as where her career is going. If we don't even think about championships, just thinking about what type of feud she's going to be in, and we just talked about her
Yeah,
versus Piper Niven and Rhea Ripley having that type of personality, we're going to be more entertained by that feud than whatever Tony Storm is going to be doing that doesn't have Rhea Ripley's name in it.
yeah,
In the future.
because we know what Rhea Ripley wants to do. Like she's made it perfectly clear.
She makes it perfectly clear. Her personality, is pretty intense and really good. And we're gonna get a hard hitting match out of her and Piper Niven. Tony Storm, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on with Nina Samuels. I get it. They gotta face each other, facing Hill, but there isn't
Yeah,
anything definitive.
Like Nina Samuels, the way that she presents herself is like you could tell it's like she's trying to do the whole Mean Girls personality, but
Yeah,
it's just quite not clicking.
it feels like it's not genuine. It
Yeah,
doesn't sell me to me that she's a mean girl, and even if that's the case, there's really no story between these two. Piper Niven and Rhea Ripley have an actual story.
yeah, they actually have a beef. And
Yeah,
yeah, so going back to this match, my thoughts on it, I was heavily disappointed. I mean, then again, it's been a while since I've seen Tony Storm, and I think now it's like the mystique of the cute girl with the sexy Aussie accent is kind of wearing off, and I'm like, okay, what else is there, you know?
exactly.
So it's like, this match it just wasn't her best work at all. And it's like I said, it takes two to tango, so it's not all on Toni because
Hmm.
her opponent was definitely
Oh
lackluster.
yeah,
You know, I'm
absolutely.
bro, you know that you're like Mike Kanellis level bland when you do a fucking slingshot corkscrew splash, and even that looks bland.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I noticed throughout the entire match, it kind of looked like they were thinking a lot. Like if you go back to like let's say
Yeah,
NXT.
like they were second guessing themselves.
Yeah, because you can see they can stop you, and then in their minds like, okay, now it kind of remind me of and this is not to me and Yim's fault. When me and Yim faced Xia Li up in
Mm.
NXT, that match, their first match, it seemed like they were like trying to, they were thinking too hard. And in this match, it seemed like they were thinking
Yeah.
too hard and they're being overly protective. So it just kind of
Yeah,
took
like I feel like this match just never quite got out of first gear.
it. Yeah, exactly. It was like at the same pace the
Like,
entire match.
bro, it was like if they were playing the perpetual game of red light, green light.
Yeah, it was like the same speed the entire time. Even the parts where they tried to make big spots out of it, it just felt like it was in slow motion.
Hmm.
Like it didn't
Yeah.
change anything.
You know what's funny? Those exact words came to mind when I mentioned the slingshot corkscrew splash,
Hmm.
because that shit looked like it was in slow motion.
Yeah, and then you look at the crowd, and the crowd is kind of like just they're like,
They
oh,
were
it's
they were
Tony, I
not
have to
into it
cheer.
at all.
They weren't into it at all, and they're like, oh, it's Tony, we gotta cheer Tony because they have to. This
They're
NXT
like,
UK
it's
is
Tony time.
yeah NXT UK is their NXT, so of course they're gonna cheer for the face of whatever belt is there. So
Hmm.
they need. I don't for personally. I don't feel like Nina Samuel's ready for this type of feud. I wish
She's
they would.
not.
I wish they would have got someone else while Ripley was going with Tony Storm and kind of built that person up. But Nina Samuel, she's not ready for this yet.
I mean, the problem is that like as much as I praise NXT UK is like they seriously need to put a little more attention on their women's division
Hmm.
because right now the only stars in that division are Rhea Ripley,
Hmm.
Piper Niven, and then these other ones are kind of questionable, which are Tony Storm, the current champion,
Hmm.
and this last one. I think she's getting there. They just need to give her more exposure. Ginny.
Yeah, yeah. I think Jenny is the one they should have been working on like way before, like way before.
Yeah.
Eh,
Like, like I get it. You want to give other people an opportunity, but at the same time, it's like you can't really give them opportunities at the title when they're not ready.
Yeah, I mean,
Nina Samuels, maybe 6 months down the line, she might be in a better position, but right now she was definitely not ready for a title match.
yeah, she got to get some more reps in. I don't believe her character, and not only that, even Zaya Brookside got more of a story than Nina Samuels and Toni Storm has together. So
That's a fact.
yeah,
Yeah, but definitely, like I said, this match is just it was in slow motion. It's like perpetually in first gear, and the match ended when Tony did a succession of two butterfly suplexes, and then flipped the last one into Storm Zero. That was a nice
that was actually
finish,
pretty
but it's
cool.
just yeah, like that was a great finish. I can't lie. I was actually entertained by it, but just the long dragged out journey, mind you, this match was only like 10 minutes, but it just felt long and dragged out because of like how slow paced the match was.
Yeah, so slow pace, and it's
Bro,
different.
like
And the thing is, it doesn't have to be hyper fast and super entertaining. If it's slow paced, it gotta make sense. Like Drew Gulak and Matt Riddle. That
Matt
match is
Riddle.
most likely slow, but there was a reason for it. They had technical wrestling going on in there. This match had no business being
Mhm.
slow. They were trying to do fast moves in slow motion. That's my problem with this match. So I don't
Exactly.
understand it. I don't
It's
understand.
like it's like when you get on the left lane of the highway
Mhm.
where
The fast lane.
most cars they're going 70, 80 miles an hour and you're going 45.
Yeah, and Tony Storm is better than this. That's the only reason why I'm ragging on it. I'm not trying to be Meltzer, but I know Tony Storm is way better than this. I've seen way
Exactly.
better
Like
out of
we've
Tony Storm.
seen better matches out of Tony Storm.
So I don't
Hell,
know. I
even
don't know why.
her match at Evolution last year against Shayna Baszler was amazing.
Yeah, yeah, she's had some pretty amazing matches. So I don't know.
Even under the WWE banner, she's had amazing matches.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, that wraps up NXT UK this week. Preston, what would you rate it?
I would actually have to give it a C. I think the promos are a lot better than the matches, in my personal opinion. The only match that really stood out to
Yeah,
me is the Gallagher match for me personally, out of all of them.
yeah, like this one. First of all, if even if everything across the board was solid, it'd still be below an A just because Liverpool's number one wasn't on it.
Yeah, they kept him out again.
It's like you think they'd learn by now. Just give them something to say. But either way, I'm gonna have to agree with you and give NXT UK a C for this week because it's just like it's like you could see that they were trying, but it's just the execution was off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially in that main event, the execution was way off. But you know, you know, not every episode is going to be a grand slam out the park hit, but you know, just take it as a learning experience, do better next time, and yeah, I'm looking forward to Takeover this week because yeah, takeovers are usually fun.
Right. Absolutely. I agree. Okay, so that just about wraps up our doubleheader NXT UK and 205 Live review. If you guys have a chance, please let us know what you guys think in the comments section. Be sure to subscribe, like, share. Visit us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Also visit us on SoundCloud, all under the Undisputed Champ Sports Podcast name. You just type that in, we'll come right up. Thank you guys
Yep,
for listening. I'm Preston. That is Tommy. Please have a good day. Peace.
peace.